to listen. We have made research related to brand new business Signify, which is also related to Philip led. Here we're going to talk about and clarify topics that involve features, personalization, and the technology of Signify. Signify is a former branch of Philips that started in 2000 with licensing program enabled. We also going to mention the business model, some aspect, adding some relevant information related to the firm story and did they get involved in the ecosystem work. Interactive hospitality, scene management, and leasing for healthy and are very important here. And we show some pictures and information about how do they work. These firms is covered around 3,700. Listen to what we have to say to you. Thank you, Erica. Russell.
Perfect. So basically, our use case was Interact Hospitality. So it's all about how can we create the right environment for guests and employees. So the features that you can find in this use case is like scene management, bioadaptive lighting, so it can wake you up with a particular lighting environment. You can use it for energy optimization and environmental monitoring of your hotel. So you say like, okay, when do you need to shut things down? And this can be controlled through a really neat IoT system that is basically through the Interact dashboard, and also there are APIs that you can use to actually connect to other systems as well. And now my colleagues will continue to describe some of the patterns that we have identified, which we believe contribute to the generation of exclusiveness of this use case and associated value creation.
So about the patterns we identified, we mainly focus on this on the one use case, which is the scene management. The first patent is really about a mobile computing device. So if we have a look at what is the claim they are talking about, so it's really scoping a how to say selectively enable the user inputs, and then the second step is to receive and the user inputs, and then to identify and contribute to the sensed lighting effect, and after that, this the coded light signal is carried out, and consequently, it will generate the desired lighting property adjustment. So, which means if we use user inputs, it can be user interface element. It can be a microphone, a volume button, and through the network, it will generate kind of the atmosphere that really adapts to the emotions of the people who are using the lights.
Thank you. So this patent we've also identified which relates to the concrete use case of scene management in a hotel. It's quite a neat patent because it only has 4 claims. They're method claims, and it basically talks about a method of helping a very inexperienced user to select light settings based on the preferences of a second user. So I've only put the characterizing portion of the claim there. What they do is they take a first user, and that person can be anyone. It can be a friend, it can be a followed person, an influencer, it can be a famous lighting designer, whoever you would like to choose. And they might select certain preferences for certain contexts. And the context can be a type of room, it can be a hotel room, it can be a meeting room, it could it could relate to the type of lights. Are they spots? Are they, bigger lights? And they attribute weightings and relevancy rankings to these preferences of the first user. And a second user might come along and they could be relatively inexperienced, and they might be guided by these preferences of another user. So if you imagine in the context of, let's say, a hotel room, and perhaps some of you can remember back when you last stayed in a hotel room, might be 18 months or so for some of us. And one of the most annoying things in a hotel room is to try and figure out the light switches and the light settings. And maybe you switch one light off in one place, but it switches something off on in another place, and you can probably never get them all correct. So this particular patent would lead to a unique selling USP for somebody who would stay in a hotel, a guest, because they would easily be able to select the settings in their room, and anything that would make a hotel room more like home or more comfortable would probably lead to them selecting that hotel again for subsequent visits, or even similar, or at least hotels belonging to the same chain, perhaps in a different city. Thank you very much.
For hospitality, but in a different setting, we considered hospitals. And light is known to have various health benefits. It can be reducing stress or reducing pain. And this can be achieved through providing a particular wavelength of light, or the timing of light, or the strength of light. With looking at different patents that are available, one example was a vitamin D lighting system by Philips and Signify. And this not only provides the device to provide vitamin D at a particular wavelength, but then building on that, there's sensors to detect the vitamin D increase, and then analytics in relation to the relationship with vitamin D and bone strength, which provides a feedback to the clinician so that they can amend that. Overall, Signify used the branding of HealWell to look at the improvement of health in both patients and productivity of healthcare workers in hospitals. And this looks at the timing of light for patients to allow them to sleep, or to reduce anxiety by boosting light levels in the morning for patients, but also allow focused work and improved detection rates when clinicians see consulting of patients in hospitals. In addition, Signify also have a number of devices which are utilised in hospital, such as Green Space and DuraCare, which relate to particular light fittings, which in turn have specific uses within the hospital setting to allow monitoring and improve patient health.
Okay, so we expanded the use case also in hospitals, this time looking at lighting, or what I coined lighting for healing, and focused on the use of the UVC light technology. UVC is an invisible light on the electromagnetic spectrum, and it is able to disinfect air, surfaces, and water by neutralizing viruses. And it has been proven, which is something that's particularly relevant now and we think represent an exploding market, but it has been proven to inactivate 99% of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in as little as 6 seconds. So we thought that certainly Signify could leverage its brand given the interest in disinfection at this time. In terms of protection, we thought there could be a patent for the delivery mechanism for the light. Industrial design for the fittings, the bulb, the protective cover. I apologize, but we had to remove the graphics. And we thought that there could be a product and service mark for the product and disinfecting service provided. Thank you.